Yo, what is up guys? It is esports content entertainment coming at you guys with another video here today. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about JDG, Ruler, and Knight. So JDG has now won 2 LPL titles. They won the LPL 2020 Spring Split, and they also won the LPL 2022 Summer Split. JDG, before winning any LPL titles, were just a barely middle of the pack LPL organization. They were known before for having the 2014 League of Legends World Championship player Imp, and then right when they got rid of Imp, they started getting much better players and they started winning LPL titles. They've won now 2 LPL titles, which is very, very hard to do in the LPL given how crazy competitive it actually is. Now, for JDG, during the 2020 League of Legends World Championship, they were power ranked to at least finish in the finals and or win the event. They obviously get out of the group stage, but then they choke in the 2020 League of Legends World Championship, and they lose to, Suning Gaming at the time, who is now Weibo Gaming. They lose to them 3-1. I actually thought JDG could have made at least top 4, right? So then you fast forward all of that, you get to 2022, they do really, really good, obviously, in this past summer split for the LPL. They make Worlds as the first seed. They get out of the group stage, which is to be expected with, EG and G2 and Damwon. Damwon were really, really giving it to JDG, and you could tell, during the group stage that they were having issues, Hope and Missing weren't really, a great bot lane, at Worlds, because, Hope and Missing were literally losing to Vulcan and Kaori, you know what I mean? Sure, Hope and Missing were beating Flacken and Targamas, but if you're losing to Vulcan and Kaori, that's when I already start seeing red flags, and that happens a lot with some league teams, is a team that's always power ranked to win something. I hold that team in big regards, obviously, as you should, because they're power ranked to win the event, right? And they should be on paper doing very well. So when teams like that are already struggling against considerably weaker competition, that's when you start having red flags. And I personally think that when you saw that match between EG and JDG, and they're struggling against EG, you were thinking to yourself, if EG were just a bit better, they could have actually won that game. But EG were never in any winning position almost ever in that kind of way consistently enough to actually pull it through. Now, there was that game against Canyon where JDG got completely destroyed by Canyon, that 11-0 Graves game, probably one of the best World Championship jungle games I've ever seen in my life, actually, because Canyon is obviously the GOAT jungler, my own personal opinion. Him and Showmaker, really great combo. Showmaker, my boy, always turning it up out there. I love Showmaker, but yeah, JDG definitely, failed at the 2022 League of Legends World Championship. They lost to T1. They took a game off T1, but that was Yagal's best game at Worlds was that game where he was playing Talia and shit against Faker. But yeah, JDG get knocked out by T1. They lose 3-1, obviously, and before that, they faced Rogue in the 2022 League of Legends World Championship playoffs, the quarterfinals, right, where they beat Rogue 3-0. So they beat Rogue 3-0, which is obviously gonna happen. There was never a doubt in my mind they were going to lose to Rogue, ever. They were going to crush Rogue 3-0. Literally, Rogue had no chance, guys, at all. And if Rogue won a game, that was just how bad JDG actually were. Or maybe JDG is overrated. Maybe some LPL teams are just really overrated. Maybe they are. I don't know. So after that, they lose to T1, they're at Worlds, and you could tell they're going to change the roster. LPL teams, when they lose in big situations like that, always change the roster. Ruler had been playing in the LCK for a long time. I've literally followed Ruler ever since he was on Samsung Galaxy, then KSV, his World Championship victory. I followed this guy literally since he started playing in the LCK. I'm glad to see this guy win a LCK title finally. It's crazy that the year he finally wins LCK, he leaves it, which is crazy, actually. So those guys already won essentially most things you could win in League. He won the World Championship and he won a title in the LCK. I mean, that's pretty good career overall. Multiple finals appearances as well. Everyone knows Ruler's a good player. So JDG are like, you know what? Let's get this guy. So JDG's Twitter account says, "Welcome JDG Ruler. The former Genji bot laner officially joins JDG, and we look forward to fighting together in the new season." So this looks like I said it's going to be a super team because JDG also get Knight. Now, Knight to me is the same player that Chovy is. Both are really, really good. Both are really skilled players. But there's an issue here, obviously. I think the issue overall is Knight is not the kind of player that Faker is, in the way that, like, you know how Faker just takes over games, like, when he can, he just has that instinct to. Knight sometimes, and I've seen it sometimes from this guy, sometimes he'll just, like, take a back seat, and I don't think he should be doing that. And Chovy doesn't really do that. Chovy overanalyzes situations, to me personally, and never really takes it that far, unless it's just all based in his lane. I think Knight and Chovy bear very similarities, but if JDG wants to do better at Worlds, getting Knight is better. Now, Knight's been on top esports for a long time. I mean, Knight has already won an LPL title. He won the LPL 2020 Summer Split, actually, because it was a rematch of JDG and top for both of the splits in 2020, which is crazy. Like, given how crazy competitive the LPL actually is, like, some final rematches are possible, which is literally insane because the LPL bracket is just disgustingly insane. But the thing here to understand is that I think Knight's a good player. I think at the World Championship this year for 2022, I don't know. When I was watching his games, I didn't get... he was good, but he wasn't like the Knight that everyone's talking about. Because everyone's like, we gotta see Knight on the international stage. And when he's got on the international stage, it's not really been what people have been talking about. I know people are gonna make excuses out there. There's always the usual detractors. Excuse making. You know, that's what I've noticed with a lot of mid laners though, is like mid laners who have like actually won shit and have actually done very well will have less rep than people who have won nothing in their life. Like, it's crazy to me how someone like Showmaker is not as talked about as Chovy, even though Showmaker's won Worlds, he's finished top 2 at various international events, he's won LCK multiple times, he's a very, very good player, but Chovy seems to dominate the conversation more, even though he's clearly less accomplished and really only has like one more thing better about him. Chovy just has a little slightly better laning phase. Oh my god, he can creep score 5 more than me. Oh, ooh. Right? Well, glad that makes Chovy win shit, actually, but hopefully getting Knight will actually do this for JDG. JDG says, welcome, JDG Knight. The former top esports mid laner officially joins JDG. We're ready for the Rift. So, JDG's roster should be what? I'm pretty sure it's 369, right? Leaguepedia, LPL. So they're gonna have Ruler, Missing, Knight, TN, and they're gonna have I'm pretty sure it's 369, right? Yeah, if it's 369, that's a pretty scary team right there. Also, I'm getting the teams obviously mixed up here. Sorry, there's a huge ad right here. LPL 2023 season right here. Yeah, most of the rosters obviously shouldn't be here yet because most of the rosters are still being figured out. Now, remember what I told you guys, that I was going to still cover like a lot of the roster changes, but if there's nothing big to cover, then there's nothing I can really change, obviously, right? So top is filled out. Even on Leaguepedia, JDG's not filled out either, which is crazy. You'd think JDG would be filled out here, but I'm pretty sure that's gonna be the roster, right? I'm pretty sure that's where it's gonna be. JDG. So this is going to be their roster. Let me see what their roster is gonna look like. Yep, 369, Kanavi, Knight, Ruler, and Missing. It's a scary team right there. That is a scary team. Because Kanavi already re-signed with JDG right here. Knight and Ruler join. Kanavi re-signs. And yeah. Finally, they got rid of Yagal. They had gotten rid of Yagal a while ago. There was a split a while ago. They actually got rid of him. They were doing bad without him, so they brought him back. They only really brought Yagal back because they were losing in the beginning part of a spring split in the LPL. So they bring this guy back, and he gives them success, obviously. But that, like, it's one of these things that's going to happen. Like, a lot of these orgs do that, where it's like, they let a player go that's helped them be successful in the past. But if you're trying to move on from someone, you can't just bring him back, you know? And they're finally committing to get rid of Yagal. I wonder how it's going to go. I doubt they're going to just take him back instantly. But, yeah, JDG's team is looking pretty strong. Looks like a definite super team there. 369, great top laner. Kanavi, great jungler. You know, at one point he was a little overrated, but Kanavi definitely has got his form together. One of the best junglers in the world, in my personal opinion. Knight, really good player. Ruler, really good player. Missing, I won't say he's like the best support to me personally, but really good. So JDG actually has an attempt at making a legit super team. A lot of super teams do not work out, but we'll see how this goes. This should be a front runner to win the LPL 2023 spring split, given how other rosters might perform. I mean, you still have the likes of Top Esports here as well. I kind of want to see how Top Esports is actually going to do with their roster. Their roster looks pretty interesting as well. I think this roster, like, if you see a JDG versus Top rematch in the finals, I wouldn't really be really surprised, but who will know? Like, you still have EDG. I mean, you still have, like, BLGs trying to compete with a roster, you know? Like, to me personally, for the LPL, you're going to always have it come down to the usuals, right? You're going to have your RNGs, your Top Esports, you know, you have your JDGs, your EDGs, right? Once in a while, a random org will pop up and do well, like FPX did, and IG did well at one point, but there's always the consistency that falls in that as well. Obviously, for the LPL, I root for RNG, and it doesn't look like they're gonna be, I don't know, you know? Like, I would love if RNG was competitive in this LPL 2023, you know, spring split, but I don't know, actually. I like RNG a lot, you know, but god damn, it looks like they're about to be not winning titles for a while, but we'll see how it goes. So, after this video, like I told you guys, channel update video, then after that, just content that I'm going to respond to from other content creators in the space for League of Legends, and then I'm going to do one more Cloud9 podcast as a wrap-up to this year, and then after that, there's nothing else to talk about for the Cloud9 podcast, you know, after the LCS spring split team tier list, and then after the yearly wrap-up episode, that's it. Nothing else to do. Just have to wait for more stuff to pop up. But even though you might not be seeing Cloud9 podcasts, you know, potentially, you are going to be getting more content. And that's not potentially. You are. What you're going to be getting is you are going to be getting just me doing response videos, essentially. That's just all it's going to be. Just response videos, and if any other big news pops off, then I'll cover it, obviously. But that pretty much wraps it up for this video. See you guys later. Like, comment, and subscribe. Most of all, enjoy. I am MSK, and this is Esports Content Entertainment, your one place for esports content. All right, guys. Deuces.